Okay, everybody, what is going on? Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. And let's talk a little bit about one of our division rivals here. And let's talk about a division rival that I haven't really said a lot about so far this offseason, even though they are presumably going to be a good team in 2026. And they are a team that will be an obstacle on some level for the Seahawks, the San Francisco 49ers. I've talked about NFC West rivals this offseason for sure, but it's mostly been the Rams because the Rams have been the team that has actually been doing stuff, and they've done a lot of stuff. The 49ers have done stuff too, but it doesn't quite have the same impact what they're doing, right? But I got to talk about this a little bit because there's been a pretty clear storyline developing over the last week or so, and hey, it's significant. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So, if you've been following anything about training camp, just NFL wide so far this offseason, one of the big subplots has been what's going on with the San Francisco 49ers and their injuries. Yeah, they've got a lot of them already. They've got a lot of issues just during training camp. These are not injuries that, well, with the possible exception of Ricky Pearsall, who we'll get to in a second, and I guess Kyle Shanahan, these are injuries that are happening at camp. So, yeah, the Ricky Pearsall's kind of the big one right now because there's been some concerning things said about him. But Jordan James, I guess he broke his ribs. Malik Mustafa's got the hamstring thing. Christian Kirk had the calf thing flare up almost immediately when he showed up to camp. Badarian Lowe, who as of right now is a backup, so that may not necessarily be the end of the world, but still worth monitoring. Grayson Halton, Andrew Farmer, and of course, we all know what's going on with Shanahan and his concussion, where the beat reporters over there in San Fran are doing a heck of a job trying to chase that one around, but a lot of mystery around the nature of that concussion right now. But either way, however you want to slice it, this is one of those teams that I was talking about earlier, where you've got these teams that are hitting the ground running going into preseason, and then you've got these teams that are getting smacked around by the injury bug and bad luck to start their seasons. And the Niners are in that latter camp. And I mean, it's impossible to talk about this kind of stuff without thinking about the big elephant in the room. And look, science has told us the substation stuff is just a meme. Like, it's not actually affecting anything, it's not real. And I'm happy to trust the science. I think that the science is usually worth trusting, but I don't know, man. This is definitely extreme, right? This is definitely an extreme circumstance where these players just can't stay upright. And maybe if you put it into a certain context, you could say, well, it's not any better or worse than other teams on average. That may end up being true, but you got to admit, it's starting to get a little bit spooky, right? And the Pearsall thing's the big one. And main reason why I'm making this video is because it has already been said that there is some expectation that Ricky Pearsall is going to miss the entire 2026 season, or at the very least not do anything in the 2026 season. So that's already gotten very, very real. And the tone around Pearsall is very somber, is what I've noticed. So it sure seems like the team has already kind of resigned themselves to whatever is going on with him. And I know that it's a little complicated, right? I think it's a pectoral, but it's obviously a little more serious than that, is going to be crippling. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer, best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. So, yeah, we are already getting this kind of a start to the season for the 49ers. And remember, this doesn't even include Romello Height, who did get injured in camp several days ago, but dodged a disaster. Apparently, it was just a cramps, but initially it looked really bad. And I imagine that when they say cramps, they mean cramps, and it's something that's completely cleared up by now. But you got to admit, it does seem like there's something funny going on here. And there have been people that have pointed out, look, even if the substation thing is not real, even if the substation thing is just a meme, it seems to be in the players' heads. And then something like this happens, and it really starts to get in their head, and it seems to affect them. I mean, my understanding is that George Kittle believes it. Like, how can that not be in your head that you're practicing next to a thing that is casting a magical field that is making you more likely to get hurt? How does that not get in your head? Or maybe Kittle's just a comedian. I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be one of those teams that looks like they're going to have their season start off on the wrong foot. And remember, they are loaded with players that are already a risk, right? They've got the heavily overused in recent seasons and already starting to wear down Christian McCaffrey. They've got George Kittle coming off of a major Achilles tear, trying to come back for week one. They've got Trent Williams, right? Coming off the first year in a long time where he's missed any time at all, and he's at his age, always a risk. Guys like even Bosa and Warner, they're not old, but they are coming off seasons where they missed a lot of time to injury, so it would not be unprecedented for them to get hurt again. So we've got a division rival here that is already dealing with this kind of stuff. And, it does make you reflect on how lucky you are if you can avoid this kind of situation. And look, injuries are going to happen to every team. Every team at some point is going to lose somebody, even if it's for a game. But everybody's going to get hurt at some point, and you just have to hope that you don't get hurt at the time where it cripples you. And you just have to hope the injuries you have are of the minor variety. But right away, you look at this and you go, okay, Ricky Pearsall, that was going to be a crucial receiver for them this year. Mustafa, he was going to start. Christian Kirk, I don't think Christian Kirk would have really done all that much. But the thing is, we all kind of knew Kirk was going to get hurt because that's been kind of his, that's been kind of a pattern with him. And he's also a player that is definitely getting older. Grayson Halton, they're so thin on the interior of their defensive line that it kind of made sense that he would become a big part of what they do this year, even as a young player. Of course, the Shanahan thing looms huge. Without him, they're in big trouble, but that's kind of a separate conversation right now. Like it's just, it goes on and on and on. And of course, a lot of those injuries may end up being very minor and they clear up by week one, but the Ricky Pearsall thing, I mean, if you want to get an idea of how real this fear is, it seems to be very real for them because we just got this a couple minutes ago. The 49ers re-signed Deebo Samuel. So Deebo Samuel's back in San Fran, up to $7 million, 1-year deal. Seems more or less reasonable. Deebo was never a player that was going to age terribly well, but he can still play a little bit. But I imagine that this signing has something to do with the fact that they're kind of throwing in the towel on Pearsall. Or at the very least, they want to make sure they are ready for the worst case scenario. And remember, their big offseason acquisition was Mike Evans, another older player that missed most of last season. That most years, even when he plays, man, he's always grabbing his leg, grabbing his shoulder, grabbing his ass, trying to just hold himself together so he can stay in the football game. But that that's another one that you can kind of throw onto the fire here of these risks. So just wanted to go ahead and take a look at that. Checking out a rival here. Not a great start to their season. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And the substation's real, isn't it?